Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Dip Yanko.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Zihir Basho. Watch the game live and our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 99 pesos a month. Available for download on Google Play or the App Store.
The much-anticipated Asian Games is just around the corner and our very own GIlas Pilipinas is leaving no stone unturned in their preparations for the challenge. Now here with us to give more insight on GIlas is basketball analyst Coach Mark Molina. Welcome to the game, Coach Mark. Z,
thanks guys.
Marami tayong updates na itatanong at malalaman from Coach Mark tonight.
Yes, let's start off with how much new players are involved in this lineup for the Asian Games. Madaming nagulat na sorpresa sa mga bagong players na to. Let's start off with Kevin Alas.
Well, Kevin is the only one from the 5 new guys who didn't play in the SEA Games.
Okay.
But Kevin brings a lot to the table. He's not new in the sense that he's played for GIlas before in the past for FIBA qualifying tournaments and such. But he brings a lot of experience. He brings scoring at the point guard position because you need that in the international play. You need outside shooting from the point guard position, and Kevin brings that to the table for GIlas.
Obviously, it's not easy with the limited time of preparation that GIlas has, diba, Coach Mark? Kasi aalis na sila this Saturday for the Asian Games. But another guy that they added to this roster is CJ Perez, a guy that just played in the recently concluded World Cup. What does he bring to the table para sa GIlas Pilipinas?
Oh, a lot. And not just for this lineup because majority of this team played in the SEA Games. So chemistry-wise, I don't think that's a major concern. They haven't practiced, they will not practice together as a group for a long time. But they've played a lot together. CJ Perez, he was a big factor in us winning that SEA Games gold medal. He's back. He played in the World Cup. He begged off initially because I think there some injury that he was, but now that he was needed once again, he's back playing for GIlas.
So we got CJ Perez, a veteran in that sense. But let's talk about Arvin Tolentino. He was part of the previous lineup, but during his youth days pa yan. So how do you think, Coach Mark, he will add to the success of the team?
Well, in the SEA Games, he actually played well as coming off the bench as a shooting forward.
Yeah.
Which is huge for this lineup because you cannot have enough outside shooters in the international game, and that's what Arvin brings to the table. I also like that in the SEA Games, despite not playing heavy minutes, he was able to contribute playing 10, 12 minutes a game because that's going to be his role again in this team. He's not going to be a starter, but as a guy coming off the bench who can give you points either through penetrations or, most importantly, from outside shots. Arvin really brings that to the table, and he has size to play 3 or 4.
And also adding to this list of new players para sa GIlas, when you talk about Chris Ross, you think about his leadership, pagiging veterano niya. And obviously, kailangan to ng GIlas Pilipinas with a lot of young guys also joining the team.
It's all about intangibles with Chris Ross. You will not expect him to score a lot of points, maybe 2-4 points lang nga yan usually. But defensively, he's a lockdown guard. He's going to be a defender. He will play the best perimeter player from the opposing team. And then, you mentioned leadership. He definitely has that. Yeah. We saw that in the SEA Games when Chot Reyes needed somebody to pull the team together when they were down against, in the finals against Cambodia. Chris Ross was a big factor.
And speaking of, veterans adding to this new roster, Marshall Lassiter, how would his international experience previously would add to, maybe the success of the team?
Oh, he's gonna be huge because you always need a shooter like Marshall, and without R.R. Pogoy, because I believe R.R. Pogoy was removed because of an injury. He was our best shooter during the World Cup. Among the locals, of course, not including Jordan Clarkson. So without him, you need somebody to step in and become that spot-up shooter for this team. Remember, we're going to have Brownlee. We're going to have Ange Kwame.
Right.
So those two guys can be double-teamed, maybe creating from the perimeter or inside the paint. So you will need somebody to space the floor, especially for Justin Brownlee. And Marshall Lassiter fits the bill.
Now that we know sino ba yung mga papalit dun sa mga ineligible to play for the Asian Games, let's talk about the opponents, yung mga kasama natin sa group stage, Coach Mark. Unahin na natin dito yung Jordan. We know that Jordan had a tough campaign in the World Cup dahil malakas yung kagrupo nila. But this time around, they're gonna play in the Asian Games. And we don't know their final roster yet, but Ronde Hollis Jefferson can possibly play for this team. What do you think about the Jordan squad that we will face in the Asian Games?
They're going to be a big threat. They're the toughest opponent in the group, obviously, because they also qualified for the World Cup. They did not win the game. They finished last, but they almost beat New Zealand. And we all know how tough New Zealand is. Ronde Hollis Jefferson, if he plays, is going to be a handful. Of course, we're all familiar with him because he also plays here. But he's an all-around player. He's a leader. He's a very competitive player. So if he plays, we're gonna have a problem against RHJ for sure. But I still like the chances of GIlas because I think the combination of Kwame and Brownlee would be enough for us to win this group.
Oh, and speaking of other opponents, what about Bahrain and Thailand? How are we gonna be matching up to these two teams?
Thailand is much improved. We saw that in the SEA Games.
Yeah.
You cannot take them for granted for sure. If we have an off game, we can lose to Thailand or even a Bahrain.
Okay.
But I'm pretty confident that GIlas should be able to handle both of those teams, and hopefully we beat Jordan too, which is the toughest in our group, and so we can be #1 in our group.
There's also China, by the way, in this group. At
China lang naman.
Sila yung defending champion and kakakita lang natin sa kanila recently in the World Cup, a team that we beat back, of course, in the classification round. But what do you think about their chances here in the Asian Games? Yung lineup nila, I think, very similar to what they brought to the World Cup.
Well, two things that we have to watch out for China. Of course, Kyle Anderson will not play.
Yes.
But #1, their home court advantage baliktad ngayon. We beat them in Araneta.
Right.
Now, home court advantage would be
Amazon naman.
to their advantage. That's the first. And secondly, I'm sure gustong-gusto yan pumawi sa atin. They lost to us. I cannot remember beating China by 20 points, and we did that the last time. So gustong-gusto yan bumawi. So we have to match the energy of China when we play them in their home floor.
Alright, as Dip mentioned earlier, maikli na lang yung preparation natin since we're leaving on Saturday, September 23. But before that, meron tayong friendly match with South Korea. How do you think that would help? In what sense would it add to the preparation for this?
You're gonna need a lot of games ideally, but since we don't have enough time, it's gonna be very important. I think that's the only game this group will play together under Coach Tim Cone. The players, I think they're familiar with each other. They've been playing in the PBA a long time. They've been teammates in previous editions of the national team. But of course, Tim Cone is coming in as a new coach. But we all know how good he is, how established Coach Tim Cone is. I think he's going to be able to get this team ready. And part of that is really needing to play more games. And I think there was this game against the Korean, I think the LG Sakers or whatever, should be an important part of the preparation for GIlas.
Coach Mark, it's been a very eventful past few weeks for
goodness.
GIlas
Basketball,
Pilipinas.
yes.
Pagkatapos ng World Cup, of course, Coach Tim Cone will be the head coach this time around at may mga bagong players. How do you like how GIlas is handling everything right now? Siyempre, outside factors you could possibly get distracted, but what do you think of their, of course, attitude right now heading towards the Asian Games?
Well, there's no better guy to replace Chot Reyes than Tim Cone, because not only is Tim the most established or maybe the GOAT of all coaches in the PBA, but he was also in that coaching staff of Chot Reyes during the World Cup. So he's been working with this team a long time. Jong is also part of that team. And then, of course, Tim has Richard De Rosario, who's very familiar with. I think we have the right coaching staff for this Asian Games. The preparation time is not ideal again, but these PBA players, they're veterans. They've been in this situation before. Junmar is still there. Scotty Thompson. I think Scotty's going to be a different player in this Asian Games as compared to the World Cup, when I think medyo nahirapan siya adjusting playing with Jordan Clarkson. But I'm pretty sure with Tim Cone on the board, we're going to see a different Scotty Thompson in the Asian Games.
Right. They know what they need to do when they get to China for the Asian Games. As for us, mag-cheer lang tayo
Yes,
as always for
more
GIlas
basketball for
Pilipinas.
us.
Maraming salamat, Coach Mark, for
Thanks, guys.
joining
Thank
us
you,
here in the
Coach
game.
Mark. All right, after the break, we'll check in with one strawweight contender, Lito Adiwang, as he talks about his upcoming return to one championship. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Martial arts na.
Welcome back to The Game. The long wait is finally over for the return of Pinoy MMA star Lito Adiwang to the One Championship stage. And joining us tonight to talk about his comeback on Friday na, is the one and the only Thunder Kid, Lito Adiwang, live from Thailand. Welcome to The Game, Lito. Kamusta ka?
Okay naman, and thank you for having me.
Lito, ang tagal ka naming hinintay since March 2022. Yun yung huling laban mo. Gaano ka ka-excited to be back in the ring after 18 months?
So yan, after 18 months, nagbabalik tayo. I'm very, very excited.
Right, Lito, of course, yung laban mo magaganap na this upcoming weekend. But for you, kamusta yung preparations mo dyan so far? Of course, you're coming from an ACL injury. Kamusta yung recovery mo? Talaga bang 100%? And for you, how was your preparation this entire time for your match?
So, super tough and kinailangan ko ng malaking sacrifice for my preparation. So, yun ang ipapakita ko na dapat magbubunga ngayong comeback natin. And yun nga, I really prepared well for this comeback, so hope everything will go well.
ACL body ko pala to, Dit, kasi ako din, Lito, unfortunately had to suffer through that. But sabi nga nila, once you go through it, talagang mas matibay ka, physically and mentally. So, kayang-kaya mo na yan. Tiwala kami sa'yo. But since the whole situation nga, and yun nga, medyo matagal mula nung huling laban, kamusta yung preparation? Anong siguro pinagbago this time around? Kasi medyo matagal din, 1 taon mahigit. Anong kakaiba na ginawa mo this time around?
So, yan, ang isang medyo bago na ginawa ko is I tried to venture out and seek other training partners, and yan, pumunta ako sa Thailand, sa Bali. So, just to check and strengthen my strength and improve my weaknesses.
Lito, you're one of the most explosive fighters right now in one championship. At sabi mo, yung susunod mong laban is the perfect fight for you. Paano mo nasabi yun? Ano bang meron dito sa kalaban mo this upcoming fight? Bakit siya yung perfect na tingin mong matchup para sa'yo?
So nasabi kong perfect matchup to sa akin kasi we know Adrian Matis is a brawler and a real fighter too. So kanya, explosive fighter din siya. So alam kong magiging bakbakan at hindi siya aatras sa laban namin. So yun ang super nakaka-excite dito.
So, eto na nga, may perfect matchup tayong magaganap. Lapit na. Anong sa tingin mong dapat ini-expect naming mga fans sa moment na manood kami ng laban mo?
Just expect the better version of the Sunday King.
Yon.
Yun yung gusto namin. Pero may sinasabi rin kasi yung kalaban mo si Adrian
Oo
Matis. No?
nga.
Sabi niya, despite the short notice para sa kanya, dahil I think short notice nga lang before this fight, but for him, he's looking to knock you out. Sabi raw niya yun, papayagan mo ba yun, Lito? Ano bang game plan mo dito sa laban mo against Adrian?
So, hindi natin maaaring payagan yon na mangyari.
Yon, yes.
So, baliktarin natin kasi I'm really chasing to knock him out also.
Yun ang hihintayin namin, Lito. Of course, manonood kami ng laban mo and we'll cheer you on. There you have it. Lito Adiwang will face Adrian Matis on September 22 for the event. One Friday Fights 34, Rodtang versus Super Lek. Lito, maraming salamat ulit at good luck sa laban mo.
Thank you very much.
And after the break, we'll move over to the collegiate ranks as we get an insider look on the preparations of the DLSU Green Archers for the upcoming UAAP Season 86. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome to Inside the Game. My name is Vito, and today we'll be having a special guest, a team that is very, very special to my heart, na kahit minsan masakit sila sa ulo sa akin. But again, we're now joined by the DLSU Green Archers, Michael Phillips and Kevin Kimbao. Boys,
Hello po.
it's an honor to do this interview with you guys. Kamusta?
Okay lang po. Thank you for having us.
All right. Season is fast approaching, and there have been a lot of expectations, knowing that we did pretty well during the preseason. But for you, Mike, what is the biggest, probably the biggest expectation that you have this coming UAAP season?
Yung biggest expectation ko po, just para maging healthy tayo as a team. Yun yung one of the factors na nahirapan kami nung last season, and so I think that's something that we've really been working on this off season.
All right. Kevin, let's talk about the preparation that na ginawa natin this season. Alam ko na you guys have been really working hard. Nakita naman namin coaching staff yung effort and the work that you guys put in. But what was your mindset coming into every practice and every tune-up games or preseason games that led us to this preparation this coming season?
Siguro yung unang mindset ko lang, coach, is kung paano ka maging 1% better sa kahapon mo.
Yeah.
And ayun nga, tulad nga sinabi ni Mike, gusto ko din maging healthy. So every night, inaalaga ko yung sarili ko, tulog na maaga, proper nutrition, and syempre, props sa conditioning, coach. Di pwede mawala yun.
Syempre. Yo, shout out kay Coach Mig sa ito na.
Jello Vito.
Pero yun nga, let's talk about now with yung bago nating head coach, si Coach Topex. We've all known Coach Topex to have this unique way of handling things, lalo na sa mga teams. Sometimes we sometimes call him the culture changer. Sa'yo, Kevin, how big of an influence Coach Topex is to you?
First of all, off the court, sobrang laking influence sa parang tatay ko na siya, pangalawang tatay ko na. And on the court siguro, sobrang comfortable na makasama. Sobrang sarap katrabaho. Sobrang competitive. So, yung mindset niya everyday talagang learning process everyday. So, ayun, thankful ako kay Coach Topex na pinipiga niya sa akin everyday yung nilalabas niya kung ano pa yung potential ko. And siyempre, di mawala na talunin ko siya every game, every practice. Hi, Coach.
The practices have been very, very competitive. Kaya nga nang parang nangyayari sa atin na it's the players against Coach Topex, di ba? So it's really fun to see that competition within ourselves. Lalo na alam natin na that's very healthy for the team.
I think this year we really established a lot more experience. Right. Something that we really fought hard to get, especially the last two seasons. The thing with Coach Topex, I really like. He really is, like you said, a father figure to us, just like Coach Derek was as well. And so he really picked up from that. And so, but I think andyan naman yung experience sa mga veteranos, sila Evan, sila Nonoy, sila KQ, and so that's something that I really like to have and I really like to see in this team because kailangan natin yun, lalo na pagdating sa second rounds, the playoffs, and so that's something that we can really lean on.
This coming season naman, looking forward, what is something that you can probably deliver? Because we all know what Motor Mike is. Alam natin kung yung drive and the motivation that he has every single game. But what is something new that you can bring this coming season?
Free throws, Coach.
Yes,
free throws.
Free throws.
Yun talaga ang pinaghirapan natin. Pero yeah, I mean, that's ever since, and so, but yeah, especially just with free throws, just a focus to the game, a new focus. This is my third year now. I really want to help, as much as I can. Not just with my contribution, but just trying to be in that locker room guy, for everybody, keep the team together, and really just kind of come off of like Coach Topex as well as he's kind of handling everybody together.
You know what? I've seen you, kahit wala pa tayong 1 year dito with the team, I've really seen how Mike has grown as a leader and syempre observing and differentiating it kung what were you the previous season. But Kevin, ikaw, this is your second year coming off of that rookie of the year season. So technically, we're already considering you as one of the veterans. So again, same with Mike. What is something you can deliver? Like kung ano pa yung kaya mo pa bang higitan from your Rookie of the Year season?
Siguro yung every game is talagang, ayun nga sinasabi ni Coach Topex, iba-iba naman yan ng kalaban. Pero kailangan ko lang maging aggressive dahil last season more on settling shot lang ako sa 3 points. Pasa-pasa lang. And this season, binigyan ako ng role ni Coach Topex na bigger role compare sa last year. So, ayun, kailangan ko lang i-match yung expectation ni Coach Topex. At syempre, nung buong tao dito sa team natin.
Nice. I know sobrang excited na tayong lahat this coming season. Ako personally, I'm really excited what you guys can bring to the table. Mike, Kevin, maraming salamat for doing this interview. And this has been Inside the Game. I'm Jello Vito.
That was Jello Vito with Kevin Kiambao and Michael Phillips for Inside the Game. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zihir Basho.
Catch us weeknights here on One News and on the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch us live in our past episodes on demand for just 99 pesos a month. Available for download on Google Play or the App Store. I'm Dip Dipianco, and this has been The Game.